Yeah, I'm sure Elon Musk is losing his mind, but Threads is not the disaster for Twitter. That honor goes to Elon Musk. There's so much to unpack in this video, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. I have at least 3 different reactions to different parts of this video. And so I'll give you a little outline and move on to the content.
A couple of weeks ago, you guys probably heard that Elon Musk challenged Zuckerberg to, what was it, a boxing match? Cage match. I like Twitter's generally anarchic and democratic feel. I really don't like the idea Twitter getting replaced by something owned by Zuckerberg. Mastodon was never going to take off because of its like stupid anarchic federated system that most people don't give a shit about.
Of course, this means war.
This is by far the dumbest shit I've ever heard out of him, ever. And I rarely think of what comes out of his mouth as being dumb. Dude, do you even understand how the internet is put together? How the data centers are put together? It's all right, fine. Let's burn email. Let's burn WordPress. Let's burn the entire internet and all the data centers because it's wrong. We need a central monolithic mainframe. Brilliant. Just damn brilliant. As a cherry on top, let's remember who has driven Mastodon user numbers of late. It's been Elon Musk and a runner-up in Mr. Hoffman, who's driven everyone off of Reddit and onto Cabin and Lemmy. Get going, guys. Attaboys.
Now, I'll talk about Threads in a second, but the first thing that you have to know about it is that it has a pretty high sign-up rate. It's only been out for a couple days, and according to Zuck, it's got 70 million signups, which is pretty good.
Instagram is simply taking advantage of the opportunity handed to them. The code itself was largely ready to release, that much is obvious. They basically flipped the switch on a mostly ready for primetime service, while millions of dislocated Twitter users are casting about for an alternative. It's just great timing. The seedy reality is Instagram is creating Threads accounts for its existing user base. Boyfriends are finding out they've somehow been automatically signed up when their girlfriend signed up for an account. Instagram has always intended to sign up its existing user base to Threads. They're taking this opportunity to spin it as popular adoption. Yes, kiddies, it's not a dull sign-up process of a new service added to Instagram. Everybody is flocking to it. It's wildly popular. In all fairness, there are people who are flocking to Threads to give it a test drive. They aren't the kind of crowd that Meta will ever crow about, but if Twitter does die, they may already have a base of operations with a much, much larger audience. A word of warning, however. Meta cooperates with the police forces of states with draconian reproductive laws. If I were that age, I would not be anywhere near any of the major for-profit social media platforms at all. Threads is also a very invasive program. It will attempt to collect every last scrap of data about your health status, your financial status, of course, your social networks, and your moment-to-moment activities. I personally find this kind of platform to be utterly repulsive. People don't care about it, but they should.
This is why I like Twitter. I think that Twitter is democratic, okay? Twitter is an environment where on the same level, you can have politicians laying out like political messaging and guys called like poopy butt fart responding with racial slurs. I think that's democracy, personally.
This is a ridiculous and poorly thought out premise, particularly from somebody like Vaush. Everything about the major platforms is authoritarian, and any liberties you and I enjoy exist at their pleasure and at their discretion. These liberties can be shattered in an instant, as Musk has so definitively demonstrated. Twitter, Meta, and Google are all centralized command and control platforms where algorithms control your experience. Free expression is an illusion when those media constantly tempt people into psychotic thinking, and people's expression or livelihoods can be wiped out in a stroke. It's the same situation on e-commerce sites like Amazon, eBay, or Etsy. These are all enclosures. Buyers and sellers are both at the mercy of the platform's profit motive, or its CEOs and stockholders' political interests. As a functioning society, we absolutely need a corner of the internet where we can be left to be ourselves without the influence of a corporate body trying to shape us into a cog for their commercial and political interests. We need to be left alone to be sociable.
Also, and this is pretty important, Threads, because it's basically just a part of Instagram, does not have not safe for work content. Now, I know that sounds kind of superficial, but the internet is kind of dying for not safe for work content. Like Tumblr banned it, kind of. Imager, the Imager image hosting service, they don't allow it anymore. Patreon and a bunch of other web hosting and payment services don't allow you to do not safe for work stuff that gets hosted on their site. Yeah, Tumblr pushed it underground, but you know what I mean. I gotta say, there's a pretty big overlap on Twitter between like leftist shit posters and sex workers. And I gotta say, like, they're all pretty nervous right now, you know? Because if Twitter goes, like, if everyone jumps over to, mass marketed platform X or whatever, like all social media just kicks it out, well, then, that's pretty much all their marketing that's done. I mean, who knows for how long Reddit will allow it, right? I mean, with the changes that Reddit has been making, the fact that it can't run advertisements on not safe for work subreddits, it's not like they give a shit. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty weird.
Yes, that's right. If you're in an enclosure as a serf and the Lord goes nuts, you're kind of pooched. And by the way, the reason why DARPA pursued the creation of the internet was to create a communication system that was bulletproof against nuclear war.
I like Twitter. I like Twitter for what it is. I mean, I hate what it's become under Elon. I like Twitter as an archetype, as a format, as a platform, certainly compared to other social media sites. So that's my bias. Mastodon was never going to take off because of its like stupid anarchic federated system that most people don't give a shit about.
Mastodon does not have a commercial agenda. I don't think it's trying to be anything other than a federation of communities built on a common content sharing protocol. Be it the Reddit-like platforms of Kbin or Lemmy, picture-sharing platforms of PixelFed, video-sharing platforms of PeerTube, or Twitterish platforms of Mastodon or Kalki. Heck, you can even post from WordPress. It's its own thing. I don't think anyone feels the need to be like Twitter. In fact, you can see lots of different samples of posts where people are thrilled that it's not. The ultimate goal of every tech bro is to become the Amazon of everyday existence, where we live, breathe, and swim in their world. And I think people should take a step back and consider what this means, because in my book, that's the description of a totalitarian society. Twitter and online platforms are not the town square. They're not a pub. They're not a coffee house. And it is faulty reasoning to imagine that they are.
To pull him out of the fight. Jesus, look at Zuckerberg. I forgot about this image. Would you want to fight this guy? Are you kidding? No way. Not with 1,000 years to train could you get me in the room with this robot. Oh my God. Your reptile strength. He does the thing, you like knock his head and it spins 360 degrees and he just stares at you. We're just seeing modern feudal politics and Wi-Fi. Well, it is basically, yeah, it is. It is kind of like a bit of evidence to the regression of political thought, I think, where we basically have like the aristocracy challenging each other to duels. You know, it like we're regressing to an earlier time, maybe a better time when the aristocracy would fight and kill each other.
A gladiatorial death match between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg? Oh, baby, I am all over this idea. In one glorious takedown, the most unlikable Dr. Evil lizard man of Silicon Valley could smash the alpha geek tech bro Tony Stark facade of Elon Musk. That single act could bring balance to the universe, and Mark Zuckerberg could atone in part for Facebook's contribution to the Rohingya genocide.